Morning Joe and the Pro. Myself and Dave Cokin, excited to have you, a legend in this game, a machine in college football, rolling in hockey, winning in NFL. Dave, thanks for joining us today, my friend. I love doing these shows with you.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Thursday because I'm going to be on Puck Talk, which has a chance to be, for hockey fans, a daily show that's just going to be fabulous and hopefully contribute something good on Thursday.
It's actually called Puck Time.
Puck Time, excuse me.
No. Today was the first day of the show. You know, Alex B. Smith has joined us. He's with us at Sports Memo full-time, selling his hockey plays. You know, him and Andrew McGinnis did a show that was extremely well received called The Ice Guys over at Sports Book Review. That show has been canceled. We've taken it over. We've changed the name. We've also changed the format. I think everyone will like it a lot. It's very informative. We're doing it every day, Monday to Friday. Dave Cokin will join us once a week. This week it's Thursday. We love talking hockey with you, Dave. You know your stuff in that sport. That is for sure. So make sure to head over to WagerTalk and WagerTalk on YouTube and check out Puck Time. We've also turned it into a podcast. 3 videos for me today, Dave. I got Puck Time, which I've already taped. I've got Morning Joe and the Pro with you. And right after this show, it's the NFL presidential address with Kelly, which, no disrespect to all of you people, is my favorite show to do.
I'm somehow not surprised by that.
Well, you know what? You know, Kelly's awesome. I don't need to host the show. It's more about me giving out information rather than driving these shows along. But listen, let's get into you, brother. Your college football season has been absolutely ridiculous. You're in the mid 60% range on the entire year. Last year, your bowl games were 67%, which is so absurd to me. You've got a best bet on the Las Vegas Bowl.
Yep.
And guys, it's $2. $2. Head over to WagerTalk.com. No promo code required. It's $2 right up until Friday. It's literally the must-play game of the week for us. I mean, I don't know how anybody could not buy a $2 play in college football from you. I mean, it's absurd. 51-29 on the season, Dave. 51-29. Your bankroll has increased 75%. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I play the games myself, and it's been fun watching the various accounts increase with the college football. And look, I'm not. This isn't a brag piece, but there's not too many better than I am in college football over the years. I'm pretty good at this stuff, and it's been a satisfying college football season. But I'm never really satisfied. I want to win the next game, and right now I've got 4 bowls up. So for those who bought the bowl package at WagerTalk, you've already got 4 good games, including this one, and that includes a 5% play on one of the bowls taking place later on that I decided to go ahead and grab now. So you've got this $2 play, some other good stuff, and I'll mention that the NHL is on just a massive run right now. I don't play many games, but 13-3 about the last 3 weeks, 6 in a row in the win column. I even won a shootout last night with the Penguins. Here's the weird thing, though. This is where the discipline comes in, and it's part of the reason I do well in college football. I don't play all that many games. I'm looking for the cream of the crop. There's 10 NHL games tonight. None of them fit on my parameters. And so guess what? I didn't play anything in the NHL, despite just because you're hot doesn't mean you just toss out plays and take chances. You stay disciplined and you do pretty well with this stuff.
He's Dave Cokin. I'm the Prez. Make sure to head over to WagerTalk.com and get his Las Vegas Bowl bet for $2. Dave, there's 10 games in NHL tonight, like you said. I was able to find one. I'm playing a side tonight. You can get it at WagerTalk.com. Man, I'm 60% in the NHL season and 60% over the last 2 years in hockey. I play either short favorites or small dogs. I do not lay a lot of money, and obviously I play a whole lot of totals. Give us a bet for tonight, a free pick, if you will.
I'll give you the only bet I've made today. Because I didn't play anything in the NHL. I don't play the NBA until the playoffs. I did play one college basketball game that fit on my numbers, and I kind of like the situation. Colorado at New Mexico. The Lobos are going through some issues right now. Manigault, I don't know what his status is going to be tonight because he threw a punch at a guy in pregame the other night against New Mexico State. They're not playing well. The chemistry just doesn't appear to be there. The coach is talking about them being fatigued. It's December, and they're already fatigued. Colorado's not the most trustworthy team on the road, but they did play well over the weekend. I liked the flow that they showed in the Illinois-Chicago game and managed to win by 12 in a game in which the other team couldn't miss a basket. I mean, UIC shot a ridiculous percentage in that game. So good signs to me on the Colorado side, and I laid 4.5 with the Buffaloes tonight.
I got a couple of free picks for you guys as well. Let's go to the NBA. You know, I've had an incredible start to the NBA season, Dave. I'm in the mid 60% range. I'm really seeing it right now. And, you know, the Raptors are on the road tonight playing the Clippers in a different time zone. Look, the Raps have lost their last two. The line came out at Clippers at plus 3.5. It's moved to 5. We all know in basketball, 4 is a big number in basketball. It's a very common number. So there's obviously a lot of money coming in on the Raps. The Clippers, you know, they won in overtime against Phoenix, and they lost 2 games before that, and they've got a bit cold after an incredible start. But I got to tell you, man, the Raps have always struggled out west. I find this line to be too big towards the Clippers. Plus 5 seems to be a really good bet for me. It gives us a nice window. If the Raps win, it still gives us a 5-point leeway. And Dave, anybody could see the Clippers winning this game. It's not outrageous to assume that the Clippers would lose this game. So I'm going to take the 5 points, and I think we're going to see Toronto enter a little bit of a slump before they get back home. In hockey, I like over the total in the Leaf game. Dave, I know these things don't make your card. You couldn't find anything in hockey. But let's really talk about this because, you know, the Leafs are scoring. I mean, and they're scoring every single game. They put up 3 against Boston, but, you know, they had 4 against Detroit, 4 against Buffalo, 5 against Minnie, 5 against San Jose, 4 against Boston before that, and 6 against Philadelphia. They're averaging over 4 goals a game in their last 8. Carolina as well. You know, Carolina's defense is not it's not as good as it was even 4 or 5 games ago. I think you're going to get Toronto at their best tonight, especially coming off of 2 losses. I think this game's going over 6.
Yeah, and the Maple Leafs actually were the closest call for me on the projections this morning. I made a minus 135, so slight value. From a matchup standpoint, you know, Carolina's an interesting team because I think Brind'Amour has done a great job in bringing energy and conditioning to this team, but they just don't get a lot of quality scoring chances. If you look at the shots on goal, it's why shots on goal are a misleading stat because they just fire it in at every opportunity, but they're not really great scoring chances. So it's a misleading stat on them, and their offense just isn't very good. They just don't have a lot of playmakers. Oho, whatever his name is, he's tremendous. And they got a couple other guys, but that's a problem. Plus, they're a little snake bit. I mean, McElhinney has been on the best run of his life playing goal. So
and he's out.
He gets hurt. And now they got to bring Darling back up. And, you know, I mean, Darling is captain rebound in the NHL. I play Toronto or nobody here. So, you know, if you want to mess around with the Maple Leafs and over, there you go.
He's Dave. I'm the Prez. It's Morning Joe and the Pro. And make sure, guys, to head over to WagerTalk.com, buy Dave's college football Las Vegas Bowl best bet. It's only $2. Dave, let's look ahead to some NFL. Let's take a look at all three games, Thursday and Saturday, and then call it a show. Thursday night, we probably have the best Thursday game of the season. The two best teams in the AFC, the Los Angeles Chargers on the road facing Kansas City. What a shame one of these teams is going to be a wild card team when teams like Pittsburgh can't win at all. Kansas City minus 3.5. It is holding. We did see a 3 or so yesterday. Public betting 69% on Kansas City. The over came out at 56.5. It went all the way down to 51.5. It's now been moved up to 53. I think Melvin Gordon is actually the key to this football game. Kansas City is the 32nd worst run D. If I was San Diego, I would run the ball 2 out of every 3 downs here. What are your thoughts on this game?
You know, the Chiefs showed me something on Sunday. They managed to survive a really tough game against the Ravens, who, and the Ravens had them beat. And Mahomes finds a way. The kid's, he's got the MVP locked up to me.
That fourth down and 9 to Tyreek Hill.
Wow. I thought the third and 19 wasn't bad either. He's just amazing. And I just don't know if the Chargers can beat him at this site. And one thing to remember, I mean, it is what it is. These Thursday night home teams, holy crap. I mean, you're just taking your life in your hands if you go against these Thursday night home teams. I made the number 6 in the game, so I'm higher. And I know I'm on the square side here, but guess what? The square side has done pretty well for me back in the Saints in all these games this year. And I had him again this past weekend. Square or not, I would look at the Chiefs side here.
I agree, Dave. And I think the big thing that stands out to me is, the Chargers are almost a perfect football team. Their one glaring weakness is passes over 16 yards. They are getting beat deep, and we saw it against Cincinnati, and Kansas City with Tyreek Hill running down the field is hurling the ball up. I think the matchup is not great for the Chargers. I know they're going to run the ball a ton, but the bottom line is Casey's going to get up, and they're going to get up early. The Chargers might have to go one-dimensional, and Kansas City's offense plays perfectly towards the Chargers' defense. I agree with you. I like Kansas City as well. Let's talk about Houston and the Jets. The Jets, we saw, had a great game last week against Buffalo, and they showed moxie. Now's an important time for these teams like San Francisco and the Jets who are out of it to show us some type of identity and whether they care. Clearly they do. They're +6 against Houston. The problem for the Jets here, Dave, is that you just can't run against this Texan defense. 41.5. Houston struggling in the red zone. I lean on under the total here. What are your thoughts?
Not many. I think the number's pretty solid in the game. I made the Texans like 5.5, so scant value either way. The Jets are a different team with Donald. Look, I mean, he's going to make mistakes in every game, and then he's also going to make plays. And you saw, I mean, this guy's got an arm that's unbelievable, and he made some throws late in that game that was sensational. So the Jets would love to knock off Houston, and the Houston winning streak is over. And sometimes after a long winning streak, team finally loses one, and a little air goes out of the balloon. So this will be one where the public will love Houston here at less than a touchdown. I'm not sure this is going to be that easy.
Cleveland going into Denver, Dave, and Denver just did not show up last week against San Francisco. And you know what? They win that game, and they're in the driver's seat for a wild card spot.
That was a big look.
Especially hosting Cleveland, a game that they should be able to win. They're -3. I think that number is short, Dave. I think it's a reaction play to how bad Denver was last week and an overreaction play to how good people think Cleveland is. I like the under and I like Denver. And I got to tell you, Dave, I know we've seen Baker throw the ball far and he looks like a superstar in the making.
That he does.
I think they're going to struggle to put 17 points up.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and I'm not putting as much into the win against Carolina as some others because I think Carolina's a dead football team right now.
But even with that said, it was first and goal from the 4-yard line for Carolina. Carolina had that game.
I don't know why, and it didn't bother me because I wasn't involved in the game. But you got to run the football. That's what you do, Carolina, and they didn't, and they blew the game. Look, Cleveland's playing well. And the culture has changed tremendously. They're not a laughing stock anymore. But I still think you're looking at some value here. Yeah, the Broncos played a bad football game on the road, but they're a different team at home. And to me, the line's a little short here.
I agree 100%, my friend. Really quickly before we end, speaking of Cleveland and Green Bay. If you got offered the coaching job of either of those two teams for next year, I think I'd take Cleveland.
Oh, I would too. The Browns have got some great young talent, and they're probably going to be a pretty good football team next year, especially with the likely, if you look at the learning curve, it figures that Mayfield's going to be a considerably better player next year than he is right now. And it looks like they finally, after a lot of misses, they finally struck gold with the number 1 overall pick.
That is for sure. And look, Ward is good. Their defensive line is ridiculous. Good wide receiving core. Chubb was a hell of a pick, Dave.
Oh, I have no idea what Hugh Jackson was looking at not featuring this guy. He's a legit feature back in the NFL, and that's a scary backfield right now. And look, who's also picked up his game now that they're starting to show more variance on offense is Landry.
Yeah,
who now becomes, you can't just overload your defense and say, oh, let's take away Landry because they can't do anything else. Now Landry's starting to get some open looks, and he's a really good player. But
it'll be interesting next year because I think they'll probably draft a wide receiver, maybe a couple. I think Cleveland. I think Cleveland is 2 years away from literally dominating that division for years to come, especially with Big Ben on the verge of retiring. He's Dave Cokin. I'm the Prez. Guys, thanks so much for listening. Please make sure to comment. Check out Puck Time at WagerTalk TV. It's our half-an-hour hockey show. We do it Monday to Friday. Dave will be joining us on Thursday. And, of course, the presidential NFL address. Be well, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Dave.
See ya.